Check the radio, big crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back here to PTM Racing TV, and now live from Bristol Dirt Track here for Battle of the Metal Racing League action. The Dirt Series continue their Season 7 campaign as we are getting ready for some more hard-hitting action, hard-throwing action with this week being with the Pro Late models here on Bristol Dirt Track. Hi, everyone. I'm Christian Crusader Shriver. Welcome back to the show. As always, we get started off, rounded out with the Heat number 1 starts. Out of the gate here will be Joshua Godinez in the 74 Gold Bandit. Is right side there. That will be the 14 of Crusader Shriver. Row number 2 is going to be the 7 of Cindy the Coulter Taylor. In the Hooters 7 to outside, that'll be the 84 Matthew Hoffert. Rounding out your first heat. 2 heats of 4 coming at you with the Pro Lates at Bristol Dirt Track. Surface area a bit scrubbed up, a little bit destroyed right now, but give that a little bit of time and that will change up rather quickly here on the show. You will see them go onto a fresh canvas surface in the A main, and that could be the advantage point for those that start up well from the heats. We've seen here before sometimes where that good qualifying spot ends up giving them an advantage, gives them a bit of a chance at striking it big and striking it hard here. Drivers leading them off around the corners, getting ready for the action here, getting ready to field them down in and put the speed down, put the pedal straight down into the metal as we begin heat number 1 here on the show. Out of the gate, we're off and running. On the bottom lane, Joshua Godinez trying to master the run early on as the 14-year Shriver gets a big run off on the outside. 14 gets a good jump out of the gate here. We'll see if Shriver can keep the Fox Racing Dirt Late model into the playing field here. Joshua Godinez right behind him though, and the last time those two were neck and neck with one another back at Williams Grove Speedway with those UMP mods, Godinez would get right into the middle of it. Unfortunately, getting a bit of an issue there between the two. So far, though, as we lean him back in right now, Matthew Hoffert back into the 3rd place spot here. Cindy the Coulter Taylor falling spot down a little bit as she drives a little bit of a rehearsed hash of the 7's Alan Kowicki's Hooters machine, just on a dirt lay model, if you will. And one of the things to expect tonight is this track, even though it is a very well-made track for the late models and the sprint cars, it's not a track you can really mess up on or give too much advantages off of. You really got to stay close corner and you really got to keep your momentum alive. The 14-inch Shriver still holding down Joshua Godinez. Godinez, though, is right there with him. You just look at how close cornered those cars are to one another, but look at how tight the turns are. They are not wheeling them in too much. Unlike a cup car or any of the other sprint cars, you still don't see them turning the wheels in very much. They have to keep them very dead straight to keep up with the speeds and keep up the runs. The 14th driver still has the advantage here. Currently now moving him down, starting to rein the chains and start to put a lead on him. He did that at Williams Grove Speedway last time, but unfortunately he fell victim and short to just problems of really not understanding the car and really giving himself a lot of headaches on the later half. Will that be the same case here? That is the question that remains to be unanswered. Joshua Godinez starting to get a little bit up closer and more personal there. Cindy the Coulter Taylor going to have a little bit of work to do here in that 7 to get it back up and running the way I think she's hoping for. Tires are definitely getting on the track, but the runs are just not coming, unfortunately. As you see the pack starting to face off just a little bit with the laps winding down here, number 1. 1 lap to go this next time by as the 14 leads the charge. He's got a good run on the outside, starting to develop a stronger lead on the 74 as they go to the white flag now. And the question remains, can there be finally another victory for that 14? He has not won in over 2 seasons. He said it's been due, I've been time, and I'm ready for one already. We'll go here to the finish. Heat number 1 in the books. 74 Godinez second, 3rd to Hoffert, and 4th to Cindy Taylor, rounding out your first heat of the night. Your second heat will be coming up here in just a moment here, but first here is heat number 1 results popping up on your screen. The Crusader Shriver will get this one. Second goes to Joshua Godinez. Third goes Matthew Hoffert. Fourth to Cindy the Closer Taylor. Begin heat number 2 as we bring to the stage here. You'll see the number 5 in the iRacing Peak Performance. That is Chantel the Throttle Bottle. To her outside, that will be the Pit Road Racing number 43, Davin Markham. Row number 2 is going to be the 51 of Eric G. Gann, and the outside of him, that's Cody Scott. So MR Customs and Summit Racing presented here as well on that end. And on that front now, we'll see how the drivers master and handle each other's abilities and capabilities here on this one. See, this is going to really be telling here. It's going to be how well can the drivers get off to a start, because remember, it looks like Markham actually going to stop in the back here. It looks like he's saying, hey, wait a minute, I just want to test the waters here a little bit. I don't want to try to get into anybody's way. Let me see what happens here. They'll let Cody Scott go ahead of him in this case. So as they lean him off out around of turn 3 and 4, off to the green flag they go here, and they will lean him down, charging him away. We're off and running. And the last time these two had met, they ended up getting into it with each other for the last pat of that run in the dirt stocks. It was a season championship race. And in this case, the shoe's on the other foot though, because Eric G. Gann gets Cody Scott where Scott can't seem to catch the 5 Chantel Bottle. And out of the gate now, Markham going straight to the bottom lane. He's going to try and send her down with a little 3 wide salute in between. Got a run off coming through the field. Been a little while since we've seen Devin Markham on the show, but man, he sure is not too fun of not being back. He wanted to come back eventually, and he is surely showing why that is. Cody Scott a little bit all over the place here, trying to hold her down. Scott had a problem going into turn 1 and 2, manages to bring it back online, back onto the spot. It's just like a good internet business. When you got it back online, you are greeted with a array of shakes and congratulations. But unfortunately for him, that's not going to help him get the throttle. Chantel Bottle, she's got a huge commanding lead starting to develop on the boys here. She's had great success here at Bristol Dirt Track. We'll see if she can keep using that momentum to her advantage and really showcase what her capabilities are on this track line. As Scott and Gann go back at it, this is where Eric Gann had literally had to race it out for his championship victory 2 seasons ago. But in this case, he's not going to catch much of a break here, leading him off the charge out of 2. And Davin Markham and Cody Scott now are in the Brooker books. They're in the speed zones now. Scott trying to get a little bit more run off to keep Markham from getting up ahead. The Summit Racing 65, you can see him just losing grip, losing a lot of times. If you even swing that thing out the slightest bit here at Bristol Dirt, you might as well say it's literally going sideways around here, because you have no control and no speed to get off of. Markham on the attack, on the throttle, down to the bottom he goes. Maybe looking for the up top slider, drives it in deep, gets it to stick, and leads him off with Scott trying to get back at him. Not enough time as they head off for the white flag here in just about 2 laps. Scott though, oh no! Cody Scott loses it down out of turn 4. The Summit Racing 65 crashing right in on the front straightaway here. Manages to bring him back alive and get it back out on the track, thankfully so, but that is not what he wanted to do there. The 5 of Chantel Bottle will lead him in now with the white flag popping out. Davin Markham coming up in the 2nd place run. And you gotta wonder, you know, Markham is catching a lot of ground, a lot of speed on the 5. Will that be the same case come in the future? That's gonna be a whole host of drivers filling it in with this one. Scott will finish 4th, 5th, 3rd. We'll go to Gann, 2nd to Markham, and rounding out the field, Chantel Bottle wins it. And with that said, now it's time to send it down for the A main event. But first, here is a look at your Heat 2 results now presented in part by PTM Dirt Series here now. Chantel Bottle with a victory here in Heat number 2. 2nd going to Davin Markham. 3rd to Eric G. Gann. 4th to Cody Scott. Good showing by all involved in this one. We'll go ahead and let the drivers get a little warm up in or two. Get them kind of ready to go here. Always good to see the drivers kind of just get relaxed up, kind of get settled in for this one, because again, there's going to be a lot of action coming their way, and a lot of hard racing to be had and dealt with, especially when you got 8 cars on the field at the same time. It could really make for a make or break scenario. All depends on how you look at it and who has the best run and who has the best footing here. But right now, warm-up's currently underway here at the moment, as we've only got about a few more minutes left, a few more seconds left here, I should say. About a minute left in total. Joshua Godinez there ended up getting kind of caught off guard there a little bit, kind of smack dab in the spot. So as we now get ready to finish out warm-up session, you gotta wonder to yourselves, who will be able to master this long half-mile track, how the speeds that they will carry in these pro late models. All that will now be answered in just a few short seconds. I tell you one thing, man. It is going to be very tough for these drivers to come out here and have to find a way to wheel and deal and also master the power struggle that is these cars, because these things can definitely give you a bit of a headache and a bit of a head scratcher out here. And if you're not careful, they can really be your make or break scenario here. We're going to find out though how much of that will be at stake as we are now presented in front to the gridding order here tonight. We'll start them up front. It's going to be the 14, Crusader Strider is outside. Chantel, the throttle bottle, in the 5. Row number 2, it's going to be Joshua Godinez. The 74 Skull Machine is outside. That'll be the Pit Road Racing's 43 of Davin Markham. Row number 4 is going to be Logitech's MPI's 84 of Matthew Hoffert is outside. It's the 51 of Eric G. Gann, the MR Customs Machine. Row number 4 will be Cindy the Coulter Taylor in that Hooters 7. And then finally Cody Scott, the Summit Racing 65, as they wheel him around for the main event. Now here, 40 laps to the distance for the 8 of these drivers. And boy, howdy, man, this could get very interesting off the starts and on the runs. You gotta wonder, though, when that long run kicks in, who will be able to hold these things online as they wheel them off here to the green flag. We're off and running, and it's go time here at Bristol. Speeds will kick up a bit and a notch. The 14 gets a great start on the bottom line. He'll defend off all those at trespass, keeping his rhythm in bay. Still looking for a win here right now as the field kind of getting clustered in a little bit. The 5 Chantel Bottle dealing with that 74 of Joshua Godinez, as well as the 43 of Davin Markham. Coming right out of the start here. Then see that 84 of Matthew Hoffer kind of sneaking in a little bit as Godinez getting a smite little pack there on that number 5. Kind of toe tapped a little bit there. Unfortunately, got them all loosey-goosey and all over the place here. Coming around down the back straight away. And the 5 Chantel Bottle getting caught off guard. And upside down she goes for a ride. Oh my. Where G Gann ended up kind of tagging her on the back straightaway. Everybody getting kind of sideways and wobbly and loosey-goosey they go. That is not what you want to see as a driver, obviously, by any means, but that is just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You see the 5 was loose. Gann was going for the run, and 5 trying to go back in, but didn't realize where Gann was, and the next thing you know, she's going for a bit of a ride. 2 flips, but you can see she started the car back up. She is okay. Knowing her, she probably is a little bit more annoyed than anything, but she'll be alright. So field will now stretch him back out, getting stretched into the track here. Hopefully we'll get to the restart run here in just a second. So we are currently under caution here. And we're getting word right now that drivers are just about ready to go back up to wraps. Base lights are off now. You can see Gann is going to be a lap down. 5 Chantel Pottle we put in the back here, as our field will stretch him back up into position here. So Gann having to get in for some repairs. Unfortunately could not get out in time. Meanwhile, the 5 was able to pretty much get things taken care of and cleaned up rather quickly. So when we get back to the restart here, it'll be about 31 laps remaining or excuse me, about 33 laps remaining. I apologize. On the start, Joshua Godinez and Crusader Shriver, once again, they're going to lock horns as they reeling them off out of turn 4 this time. Back to the green flag we go. May notice it does take them up to speed a little bit longer than some cars do because, again, they're driving in one gear. They don't have second or third or fourth. They have only a second. They only have a first gear, and that's how they're able to muscle these things around, keep them on track and online. And right now, Davin Markham is already noticing what the 14's up to. He wants to try to get ahead of him quickly. Building the speeds up. Markham has the run and has a lot of power under the hood, getting self-recentered off, looking for an opening for the 14. Crusader, though, not giving him too many options here. Cody Scott and Chantel Bottle going to return to their little rivalry as Cindy the Closer Taylor and Matthew Hopford deal with one another down there. Up till about Hopford decided to have a little love kiss there to the wall there. I'm not sure how much that was intentional, but I got to believe it was not what he was hoping for. On board here with the Crusader and his camera here, you can just see the tires how dirted up already they are. He's having a lot of work to do with that 43, trying to get around him and trying to sneak his way off of him. He doesn't want nothing to do with him down there, and he doesn't want to give him the satisfaction of beating him out. Well, you can see though, the 14, man, he is getting really loose and wobbly there. You can see he's not able to hold the line down nearly as well as Markham is, and Markham is taking very big notice. I think he's starting to get an idea of what to do here. But the 14 is still with the race lead. But how long before he dressed up one too many times on Markham? That bottom line seems to be going away a little bit. Markham's got an opening or two coming up if he can find it. Cindy the Closer Taylor now going to put a boot back up to the 74 of Joshua Godinez. She's got her eyes set on that Skull 74, the rocket machine, the rocket chassis designed up machine there of Godinez. Trying to hammer off and keep Cindy at bay and not let her come anywhere near passing him. And that's, of course, if you already kind of haven't guessed, and I said it already, that Hooters Summer 7, again, it's a bit of an Alan Kulwicki tribute car, if you will. If you don't know the history about that 7, well, then you are missing out, because that number 7 itself went through a rough patch as an owner team driver. Literally, the driver owned and created and controlled the team. And he had a thing or two about trying to run his tail end off time and time again, which of course led to that infamous Atlanta race that literally was separated out by only so many amount of points, where 6 drivers were mathematically in it to win it. It would go to Kulwicki just by literally the fraction of 1 lap due to a little bit of a pit stop timing error on Bill Elliott's team and his crew. And that would end up giving Kulwicki and them all the win. And kind of a funny story about how old Jimmy Turner Johnson was trying to get Kulwicki and all them on that team, but that's a story for a different time right now as we're looking on at the 74. Joshua Godinez still dealing with that 7, and Markham's already caught back up there, the 14 of Shriver. Shriver with a big bobble though. You can see he's trying to hang on. He knows what's going on. He does not want to lose this one, but again, if you're gonna have to fight him off, man, you're gonna have to keep it straighter than that, because again, blocking is one thing, but you gotta learn to drive faster than this, because this is not looking good for him. He's had to straight down the bottom lane a little bit more here, and he's getting into more trouble here. Can't tell if he's mistiming the shots or if he's misplacing his runoff, as now the 43 gets one big opening there, sneaks his way to the bottom looking for the run. Shriver goes down low. He goes up top, I should say. I don't know what he's doing down there. He should have gone to the bottom. Try to block him off. Markham's got to run. He's going to go there. Straight up top. Slides it in. Gets it nicely done. And Markham will take advantage. And you can just see Markham just continuing to now dominate. He is starting to pull ahead. This is what the 14 was worried about. He knew he could not give that run to Markham. And now Markham is making him pay. Oh, look right behind him as well here. Battle for third. Cindy Taylor and Joshua Godinez still at it. Cindy trying to make a move off on the bottom lane. You can see though Godinez not giving her an inch. He doesn't want to give in. Oh, but Cindy gives in. Godinez with a run on the outside. That bottom lane starting to slick out badly here. It's getting tricky out there. You really got to watch your speed and watch your cornering off. And that was the opening I think that Godinez was looking for, and more than anything. In the back of the pack, Cody Scott so far behind. Unfortunately, Chantel Pottle much the same. While Matthew Hoffer just kind of on cruise control. And really, honestly, to the naked eye, it probably doesn't look like they're doing much different compared to what the other drivers were doing. But again, you got to remember, these drivers are trying to keep these things under control and keep them at bay. And the slightest toe tap of the wrong move ends up just getting them completely sideways and long ways and short ways, if you will. And the 483, man, he just already taken this one over. This one's done and over with if he can finish this race out. He has not given an inch to the 14, and Shriver may end up having to call this one another day for him and his team. You watch Markham and just watch how smooth he is around the corners, but the one thing he's doing extremely well of, staying away from touching that bottom apron. You touch that apron, it's almost like a kill back switch. It just completely messes up your run and hurts you for all it's worth. Having a good job, doing a good job hanging in there, as you can see. This is the complete opposite here for the 14. You can see not nearly as smooth. He's actually kind of jolting the car in a lot harder here. That's really what's messing him up. He's jolting in it way too much. Instead of trying to give the charter a little bit of breathing room and chances to kind of turn the way in. The rear end is what controls the steering, if you will, to kind of slide out. So to basically trying to give you that slight little tap of the steering ends up actually making the car unsettle and gets it upset with you. And once that happens, it's pretty much it's game over at that point. You're pretty much just going along for the ride. As you see, Joshua Godinez now starting to keep another distance or two from Cindy, but Cindy is not done yet. The Hooters number 7 is desperately looking for an opportunity to strike and looking for a moment to catch. And looking at it now, actually, the 73 and the 7 are catching up to the 14, so you can just see how far Markham is from everybody, but as for Shriver, it's complete opposite. He's struggling to keep everything online. Godinez with a last run, last minute opportunity to start pushing some speed, start pushing some pedals straight into the metal. Markham's got a huge lead, and again, you can just see how he masters the track. This crowd of over 40,000 in attendance here tonight looking on as they're just witnessing another shot, another race from the Pedal to the Metal Racing League crew. An awe-inspiring sight as you see many drivers come from different variants, different varieties of racing. Some more so dirt, some more so asphalt, and some even a little bit of that road course background. But no matter what, all of them have one thing in common. That is their blood and drive to race. Down to the final 4 laps here. Currently it is looking more and more like it could be Cindy Taylor that has a chance to make a pass around Godinez, but running on that outside line is a little easier said than done. Takes a lot of heart and a lot of skill to get off around there. You got to really shoot to the bottom and hope for the best. I think they're very well aware of that, but they just can't seem to get the speed under in. And I realize it too. It says Underbird under that thing as well. You saw that 7 said Underbird. That's definitely a reference I'm not going into, but because it's already talked up for Alan Quickie. But now it looks like Cindy going back for the bottom here. She's got one last chance to make a move on Godinez at the 14 all over the place, with the white flag charging ahead here for that 43 Davin Markham. White flag flies high in the air here. Looks like one more run off coming for that 7 for the 74. But not enough in that turn. Down the back straightaway they go. They'll fight it out as Davin Markham wins this. Second goes to Shriver in the 14. And to the finish. It's a photo finish by but a tire length though. It goes to Joshua Godinez. With the fourth being Cindy Taylor. Fifth to Matthew Hoffert. Sixth to Chantel, the throttle bottle. 7th will go to Eric G. Gann, and Cody Scott not able to finish out the field here tonight. But there he is, your race winner at Bristol Dirt. And another victory for the 43 in his legendary season making. The streak continues on with his speed and endurance. And he's going to stay the heck with them. He's going to go run a little bit around the track. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get the race results in now here for your feature. Final results popping up on your screen. The officials are confirming Markham is your winner. Second going to Shriver. Third to Godinez. Fourth to Cindy Taylor. Fifth to Matthew Hoffert. Sixth to Chantel Pottle. Seventh to Eric G. Gann. Eighth to Cody Scott. Rounds out your field here tonight. Race fans, that'll cover your action here at Bristol Dirt Track for Pedal to the Metal Racing League. But we're not done yet with tonight. Stay tuned. More action to come as we are taking it down with RTC iRacing Cups Pro Series. And they will be bringing the Xfinity cars over to Texas Motor Speedway for a little boogie woogie and a little rodeo action down there. But for now, please, as we depart for this moments, please be safe. God bless. Take care. Love you guys. See you here very, very soon.